I love a good ghost story, so today I'm going to talk to you about 10 of my favorites. I do have mostly haunted house stories here, but I have a couple other haunted stories that I wanted to share with you. So I have 10 books to talk about that I have read and recommend, and then I also have 5 books that I haven't read, but they're on my TBR. So I figured I'd mention them in case you were looking for some more. Let's actually just start with those because I'm not going to go over the synopsis of anything. Delicious Monsters by Lizelle Sambury. This is YA horror. The Haunting of Velkwood. I believe this one is a little bit more of a haunted town. The Grip of It. I own this, but I actually don't know a single thing about it other than it's a haunted house story, but the cover is very cool. We Used to Live Here. This one is so hyped right now and came from a Reddit story, which I'm so excited about. And finally, Man, Fuck This House. How are we supposed to do the inflection? Like, man, fuck this house. Probably shouldn't be saying that this early on in the video. YouTube is gonna yell at me. But yeah, people move into a house and it's not a good time. So those are 5 that I hope to read very soon. So I'm going to start with the ones that are specifically houses that are being haunted. And these are in no particular order. First up, I have White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is a YA horror following a girl whose mom has just remarried and she now has a blended family, and they are moving. They move into a house that is provided for them, and everything on the street is very rundown except for the house that they're moving into that has just been renovated. And the house has its secrets. Next, I have 6 Rooms by Gemma Amor. This is a haunted mansion. We are learning about 6 different rooms in this mansion, the backstory of everything when we are on a tour with the tour guide that is with the house. It's a very elusive tour to get into. We learn about different things in the house through different people who are on this tour, kind of watching everybody experience things for the first time. I'm obsessed with this cover. Next, I have The Death of Jane Lawrence by Caitlin Starling. This is following a woman who proposes a marriage to this doctor so that she can better her life. She's not interested in being with him romantically, but he agrees to marry her if she helps out at his clinic. He's a doctor, and she agrees to do that, but the only rule is that she cannot go to his personal house. So she has to live like above the doctor's office. Is it a doctor's office if this is set like a long time ago? I mean, I guess. So she agrees to it, but by accident, she ends up in this house at night, and she very quickly realizes why she was told to not be there. Next, The Carrow Haunt by Darcy Coates. We are following a tour guide at a haunted house, and she is approached by somebody that is like, I'd like to rent out this house and also pay you to come and investigate with us because you are the expert. She agrees to do it. They are there for a week and they are doing seances, using technology to try to interact with the ghosts. And before this, she hasn't really experienced any of these famous hauntings, but now she definitely has. The Spite House by Johnny Compton. This is following a man who takes a job at a spite house, which is pretty much a building that is built in between 2 buildings or just different places where it is built just to spite somebody. He is hired to be the caretaker for this house, and he doesn't really believe that anything is actually going on there. This deals a lot with family relationships. I think it's such a unique take on a haunted house story, and I had an incredible time with it. For the last house story, I have episode 13 by Craig DeLuey. This is following a group of people that are filming a reality TV show where they are hunting ghosts. We are learning about episode 13, the episode that changed everything with this TV show. They are investigating the Paranormal Research Foundation, which is like the holy grail for ghost hunters. There are different scales of people who believe versus not. There's an actor, there's just the heavy muscle people, and we are watching what happens in the final episode of the show. So I have 2 that are kind of like haunted locations. So I have The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. This is a reformatory, a school for boys that is haunted. This is set in the Jim Crow South, and we are following a boy who is sent there after a very small mishap. And it's a school, but it's not. Our main character has a talent for seeing ghosts, and usually it's a comfort to him, but now it's absolutely not. This is a long book, which usually bothers me, but this one, I feel like everything had its place and it was done so well. So we are following Robbie trying to survive in this terrible situation, these awful conditions he's in, and his sister who is trying her best to get him out. Then we have A Haunted Plantation with When the Reckoning Comes by LaTanya McQueen. We're following a character who has moved away and is invited back to her hometown for her previous best friend's wedding. She goes there and the wedding is on a plantation and there's reenactments. It's like a bad time. It's this weird juxtaposition of a very renovated, fancy place with these like weird obsessions with keeping its ties to very racist practices. We learn about the history of our characters and also this place and see how people that lived on this plantation originally were treated, and they have to deal with the dark past of this plantation. Then I have A Haunted Spaceship, Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. This is following a salvage crew. They are about to head back to Earth when they get a signal that is from pretty much the Titanic in space, and they know that if they go and salvage things, then they get claim to it and they will be incredibly rich. So they go, but this was an abandoned ship. Obviously, people did not survive. There's creepy writing on the wall, all these weird things going on. It's so tense and stressful. And her crew has to find out what happened previously before they meet the same fate. And lastly, we have kind of a person that is haunted, Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman. This deals so much with addiction and trauma and grief with that. We are following a character who has tried to cut herself off from her boyfriend and he ends up dying. She has a lot of unresolved feelings and trauma that comes with that. And then she is introduced to a pill that lets her reunite with her dead boyfriend. The pill is called Ghost, and it has way more side effects than she ever expected. So these are my 10 recommendations for ghost stories you should read, mostly haunted house books, some other haunted locations. I highly recommend all of these. Also, just if you wanted another look, these are on my TBR. If you have any recommendations for haunted house books for me or for anybody else, please leave them in the comments. If you've read any of these already, I'd love to know your thoughts on them. And if you just want to leave me an emoji to say you're here, you can leave me the rundown house emoji. If you are looking for more recommendations, I have a playlist you can click on with tons of horror and thriller recs. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope to see you soon. Bye.